Hey, what's up, you guys? This is AJ coming to you once again from the Thwip side, and today I want to take a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Shriek figure, villain from Batman Beyond. As always, quick look at the packaging, big window with Shriek, his accessory hidden in the back, the trading card, stand, and the builder figure pieces for futures on Batman. I'll talk a little more about that when I get into the gripes, but of course, same thing. Says Shriek on the side, window with a littler Shriek on the side, product image of Shriek, pieces to build, the futures on Batman, some other characters in the wave. They were doing a mystery thing for this because they were Target exclusives for this Build-A-Figure for some reason. Don't get me started. Mumbo Jumbo on the bottom. So I'm going to open him up and then we'll take a little look at him. To start off, we're going to go over his accessories as usual. First off, he has the arms to build the Build-A-Figure or connect the build futures on Batman, which look pretty cool. Won't really get into these. This is going to be I'm going to have a gripe section kind of at the end. It'll make it easier so I can get through the review, and then I'll do my griping and my final overtake. And then, of course, the stand with the DC image tampoed in. And we get the trading card with the product image from the back of the box, part of the gripe section. Really like these cards though. And of course you get the bio on the back. And you get his sound effect. Taking a look at Shriek himself, he is definitely a nice representation of the character from the cartoon. I like the blue eye in the chest. A little blurry there. And then you just got his white armor with some detail in there. More of that blue here on the outside and the inside of the hands. And then just a black lower body pretty much with some sculpted armor detail. And people have been griping about McFarlane's lack of paint apps. They want to see more paint apps. And sometimes I agree, but in situations like this, I don't, because they're going for the animated feel, I believe. The animated look, and that's what you got. So it wasn't like ultra realism. I mean, if you're going to do anything, there's a little bit of the blue in the back too. But if you were going to do anything with it, maybe cell shading. But as far as making them all dirty and washed and dry brush, nah. To me, this is totally fine representation of the character, and I always liked his like nice clean look. So yeah, he does look really cool, and like how I remember him in the show. Articulation wise, he is pretty good too. You'd think with like all these armor pieces here and how the gauntlets are these big pieces that he would be really super hindered in these areas, but he's really not, and we'll go over that. First off, of course, the head, which is really cool. Looks up pretty far, down really far. A lot of head articulation and movement, which is awesome. Some of the best that I've seen from McFarlane overall, especially the up. And then here, like I said, you might think, oh, he's not going to be able to move around much, but this is a separate piece connected to here, and it's softer, so you get 90. And then, of course, you get the butterfly joint, has all sorts of movement. I don't think there's a bicep swivel, and the reason I think, and I don't think it's just stuck. I could be wrong, but this piece is attached here, and they could do it, but maybe I'll try heating that up, but I don't think that's meant to swivel. And I looked at images, and the images that I've seen have it in that position. So you figure you'd find one image, maybe. See, and I don't want to. Yeah, I think most of the rotation comes from, here at the butterfly joint. But he's got awesome double jointed elbows for all this going on. I mean, that goes up pretty far for all of this. And then his wrist articulation is hindered. You get a little like that because this like envelops this piece, and you can manipulate it. I already did that side to go in and out instead of up and down. Going to the torso, you get a lot of tilt. You get some nice swivel. side to side. And again, McFarlane, not much in the way of crunching, but you always get the arc back. I really wish they'd work on their crunch forward a little bit. And then the leg articulation is also really nice. Leg goes out way out that far, up really far, back really decent. Nice double jointed knees. And then you get the hip swivel, which is better than a lot of them. A lot of the McFarlanes. They're getting better with those, I notice. As I get newer and newer figures from these guys, their hip swivel articulation is really good. Ankle goes forward, back, toe articulation, and pivot. So, surprisingly pretty mobile for all that going on. Said this is my section I'm going to do with gripes about the figure, ramblings. I might ramble, but I'm sorry. To start off, the cards. I used to love how they had the comic or cartoon art. I would love them to see them go back to that. I mean, this is a product image in the back. I still appreciate the cards, but come on, give us the comic artwork or something. Second, I do not like how the Futures on Batman Build-A-Figure are Target exclusive figures coming out apart from each other instead of a wave. The wave thing isn't that bad, but I do not like how it's a Target exclusive, because we know how sometimes that happens. And start off, Batman Beyond, they had the Build-A-Figure piece, was nowhere near my store. There were tons of these when he was released. There were tons of Batwoman Beyond. And then I think Blight is the last one. But I'm not a fan of the Target exclusive Build-A-Figures releases, especially. Second, everybody says this, but also not a fan of the separate head. Buy 2 figures to get the alternate head. I mean, I did see my Target also had the one with the unmasked head. Really cool. I would like that figure, but I'm not going to buy another totally other figure just for that head. I really wish McFarlane needs to include, the heads in with one figure. I know the price point, they're trying to keep it down a little bit, but that's just not cool in my opinion. Same with the Batman Beyond. The reason I couldn't get it anyway at my Target, but even if I did, it would suck because I'd be buying it just for the Build-A-Figure piece, because I wanted the more cartoon accurate Batman mask, and the Build-A-Figure piece was, I believe, I could be wrong, I haven't read a lot of Batman Beyond comics, but I think it's more from the comic. And my Batman Beyond, I wanted to display him as the cartoon. And I know the Blight coming up isn't. I'm told, from what I've read, it's from the comic, but he looks cool, and I would have gotten him, and I would have gotten the Build-A-Figure. But yeah, this alternate head crap, buy a separate figure for a different head with the Crow Robins, all that, it's got to go. It's just too much, man. It really, and I know I'm not the only one that gets me angry. But those are my main gripes. Small gripe about the figure itself. Like I said, I'm going to go back and see if I can heat that and see if there's a bicep. I really don't think there is. I could be wrong and just being a wuss, like I was called out in a video and not wanting to break it. But that does stop it from being able to display his powers in a lot of different ways. His sonic powers. Because you can't. This hinders this too. I mean, they did what they could, but if you could get it up more so to display his power going out, and I'll show that. These just it was a lot easier when I just did it off camera, so I went back to off camera and I did plug it in. It's not that hard, I don't know why on camera, but without that bicep swivel, and if you want his powers display, now it's going to fall out, of course. Now I said it holds nicely usually, but up like that, I mean, you can put it out like that, but as you can see, with the bicep, if the bicep swivel would have given it more options. I am going to try to heat it up, but I really don't think it's meant to move. Either that or this is loose and this is tight. So, I mean, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, if that holds true, I wish there was more articulation so you could get his power, get him in some more power displaying poses. Bottom line for me, all the other gripes aside, because it didn't really have exactly to do with the figure. I really do like the figure. He gives me that animated vibe. He'll look nice next to my Batman Beyond. The only gripe about this actual figure itself is the articulation in the arms, and that might be it being stuck, but I really don't think so. If I'm wrong, comment, let me know. And that'll be about do it. Sorry there was a lot of griping about the other stuff, but that stuff fans of the DC Multiverse line have been dealing with, and I wanted to point it out. I totally agree. So drop me a comment, like I said. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing. And don't forget to whip that notification bell. I also want to remind everybody about the giveaway at 100 subscribers, Gunslinger Spawn, action figure from Target, and issue number 1 of Gunslinger Spawn. So if you're interested, check that out.